In a quiet little town surrounded by mountains and mist lived Ayan, a gentle soul who believed love was written in destiny, not found by searching, but by waiting. Every morning, he sat at his cafe window, sketching faces he imagined from dreams. One rainy afternoon, a gust of wind blew a soaked envelope against his cafe door. Curious, Ayan picked it up. It was addressed to "My future love, wherever you are." Inside was a letter, written in graceful handwriting. If love is real, it will find its way. Through wind, through time, even through strangers. Monsieur Ayan smiled and placed the letter on his counter, thinking it must have blown away from someone's bag. But day after day, he couldn't stop reading it. The words carried warmth, as if they were meant for him. Weeks later, a girl entered the cafe, drenched from the rain, searching for something. "Excuse me," she said softly. "Did anyone find a letter here, written to my future love?" Ayan froze. "Is your name M?" Her eyes widened. "Yes. How did you—" He showed her the letter, slightly wrinkled but kept safe in his sketchbook. She smiled, relief washing over her. "I wrote it years ago and let it go into the wind. I never thought it would actually find someone." Ayan looked at her and said, "Maybe it found who it was meant to." From that day, the cafe changed, not just for Ayan, but for both of them. Mayra started visiting daily. She'd read her old letters while he sketched her smile. What began as fate turned into friendship, then laughter, then something deeper. One evening, under the golden glow of the cafe lights, Ayan handed her a small note. She opened it. Inside, in his handwriting, it said, "You wrote to your future love. I'm just writing back." Tears filled her eyes as she whispered, "Then I guess the wind was right." And in that moment, between the scent of coffee, rain on glass, and the quiet rhythm of two hearts, love had finally found its home. Ayan and Mara's cafe had become the heartbeat of the little town. Every morning, the smell of freshly brewed coffee mixed with laughter, music, and love. They named it The Wind's Promise, after the letter that had brought them together. Their days were filled with warmth. She would write new letters and tuck them under coffee cups for customers, tiny notes about hope, love, and healing. And he would draw people smiling as they read them. But life, as always, tests even the gentlest souls. One winter evening, Mara began coughing more than usual. At first, Ayan thought it was the cold, but when she fainted while locking up the cafe, his world shattered. The doctor's voice trembled with quiet sympathy. "She has a weak heart condition. She must rest. No stress, no overwork." Ayan nodded, his eyes filled with tears, but his voice steady. "I'll take care of everything. She just needs to smile." He closed the cafe for a week, stayed by her side day and night, reading her favorite poetry, sketching her under the morning sun. Even when she was tired, she smiled and said softly, "Don't look at me with sadness, Ayan. I want to be remembered in your art, not in your tears." Months passed. Mara's health worsened, but her spirit didn't fade. On their anniversary, Ayan found her sitting by the window, holding a small white envelope. "This is my last letter," she said with a trembling voice. He shook his head, eyes wet. "Don't say that," she smiled faintly. "It's not goodbye, my love. Just a promise." Then she placed the envelope in his hands and whispered, "If the wind could bring you my heart once, it can do it again." That night, as rain tapped softly on the glass, she fell asleep, peacefully, in his arms. And for Ayan, the world grew quiet. Years passed. Locals said that on rainy nights, if you sat by the window, you could feel her presence, like the wind carried her laughter through the chimes. Ayan had grown older, quieter, his sketches softer and sadder. Yet every morning,